All right, welcome into New Arenas. We're on episode 4. This train is rolling, baby. And joining me from Portugal, of course, I'm Vince Quinn, and that is Ryan McCumber. Hello, Ryan.
Hey, Vince. Good to see you today.
Good to see you too. So yeah, take us through it.
Yeah, I'm excited for today. Yesterday, we had the pitch competition with the startups. So 25 startups actually pitched to the 12 partners. So you had people from the Warriors, the Islanders, Miami Dolphins, all listening. And the pitches were from all over the world. We had startups in Asia and Australia, here in Portugal, some were up in Helsinki. I mean, all over the place. And we obviously had a lot in the US as well. But I think there was 10 countries represented of the 25 startups. I gotta go back and double check that. And they all pitch. Now the partners are deliberating and they're not working together, they're working independently. So each partner, the way normal accelerators work, there's a jury of judges. They go back into a room, they all discuss it together, and they come back and they say, these are the winners. Well, no, the world doesn't really work that way. And these clubs aren't related. The one thing that ties these clubs together is a pandemic. And they all face the exact same issues, but they all want to solve it differently. So right now, I had a call today with the Belgian Federation. I know the ones they want. As we were just speaking, I just got an email from Paris Saint-Germain. I actually have the list here. I'm not going to reveal it to the audience because that's why they got tuned in for Monday.
Yeah.
But what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk to two of the 12 partners. We have Jaimie Leonoff from the New York Islanders. She works with the Islanders ownership group, and she was the representative. And then we have Christian Lau, who's the CTO of LAFC. And they were both on yesterday, and it'll be great to get them on here. So I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, well, that's going to be great. So, yeah, that interview is coming up in just a second. Again, we are New Arenas. We are powered by Fist. And with that, let's get to the interview.
All right, so let's welcome on our two of our partners from the Hype Global Virtual Accelerator. So we have Jaimie Leonoff, who works for the ownership group of the New York Islanders. Welcome, Jaimie. Thank you. And we have Christian Lau, CTO of LAFC. So Vince, why don't you kick off, and then I can jump in with some questions. We can talk about the pitch day.
Okay, well, obviously, like, just for me, because I don't know, I'm still learning about the back end of all of this, because for me, it's always like GMs and coaches and all that kind of stuff. So what exactly, for the roles that you guys have, and I guess just for order here, we're a very orderly show. Christian, we'll go with you first. What exactly do you do for the team? And I'd love to hear about it from both of you.
Sure thing. So, I'm the Chief Technology Officer, Head of Technology for LAFC, as well as Bank of California Stadium here in Los Angeles. And so I focus heavily on the guest experience, as well as the enterprise of our organization, and working through really eliminating friction everywhere we can, and bringing in the type of technology that gives our customers the best possible experience they're going to have on an event day.
Okay. Now, how about this? Quick follow-up then. What is the friction exactly? What are those kinds of frictions that you deal with?
Oh, we want to eliminate friction everywhere. Getting into the stadium, passing through turnstiles, the ability to order food and beverages quickly. So mobile ordering is going to be a huge priority for us. Eliminating wait times in restrooms, those types of things. So we're working with various partners on IoT initiatives, where we can actually let our customers know how many stalls are available in a restroom, those types of things.
Okay, that is important, because God, I go to Eagles games, and when it gets to halftime, the line is just like 500 people and everybody's agitated, and you miss half of the third quarter. So like anything like that sounds great to me. And I'm excited to talk to you about some of that kind of stuff. Now, although we don't want to talk about stalls too much, I guess. But let's go to Jaimie. So Jaimie, what do you exactly do with the Islanders?
So I work for the ownership group of the Islanders, and I lead research and innovation. So one of the big areas of focus for us is Belmont Park Arena, which is the team's brand new home located in New York, roughly 15 minutes from JFK and LaGuardia, 20 minutes by train from the city. So on the one end, we look at it from the arena's perspective. We get to build this amazing platform from scratch. On the other end, the Islanders will be the main tenant of said arena, and we get to incorporate technology into that overall experience, as well as identify technologies and platforms that we can use to engage fans away from the arena. So we take that 360 approach towards, as Christian said, friction in the arena for both the overall arena, the Islanders fans as it pertains to the arena, and then the fun, engaging content and platforms that we can apply outside the arena.
Okay, so how about this? Because I mean, we're called New Arenas, so you gotta build the brand, right? I mean, if you're working on a brand new stadium, like how involved is that process exactly? Because like we show up to the stadium, you walk around, you go, oh, that looks nice, and that looks nice, but I don't know what kind of planning goes into it.
Oh man, I have to say, coming into this, you look at an arena and go, how do you miss that? Like that seems so obvious. You know, one of the funny things is building it right now, a lot of decisions are made 2 years before the place even opens. So we're trying to always stay ahead of the ball. Where are we going to be in 2 years when this opens? Because this decision has to be made now. We're pouring concrete today. That means really try and pull out your crystal ball and make the right choices, hedge your bets. But yeah, there's a lot of research and planning that goes into this. It's a massive undertaking, hundreds of employees and consultants. We have an amazing partnership team and a great circle of decision makers in this project, and I'm excited of what we have and the people we've put together.
Okay, so let's get into this then, because obviously with COVID now everything's different, right? Just the whole approach to everything with getting fans into the stadium and what things are going to be like in the stadium, that's going to change in a really big way. So I guess for Christian, since you guys already have the building and you know you got to make the adjustments, what is that like for you? And for Jaimie, what is that process? Has that affected the way you're building this new stadium that you guys have been working on?
Go for it, Jaimie, and then I'll follow up.
All right.
So as it relates to COVID, we're a little bit different than Christian because we aren't completely built yet. But at the same time, we already laid out concrete. We have designs pretty solidified. So the infrastructure changes that we're able to make, they're not completely from scratch. So we are a good way down this path. That said, on the technology side, which is where things get to be fun, we have not made many of our major decisions yet because we think of that as software. So our design is going to be future flexible and allow us to plug in whatever is coming out and be in a good position to have that amazing arena as a platform. But at the same time, we're trying to right now make sure that our design is structured that way, but also identify what these solutions can be and figure out how they can fit in the overall operations of the arena.
Okay.
Christian, something to add?
Yeah.
Yeah. So on our side, on the West Coast, you know, Bank of California Stadium, you know, a lot of what we've been doing in the technology stack actually aligns with our post-pandemic strategy. And so what I mean by that is a lot of what we were already doing and initiatives that we had already, you know, started a path on fit within, you know, the confines of how we're approaching, you know, the guest experience post-pandemic. And so the idea that everything's touch-free and the customers have pretty much a touch-free customer journey is key. Things like facial recognition ticketing we already had in the building, and so that aligns really well. We're working on mobile ordering, which I mentioned before, for food and beverage. We're adding that for merchandise as well, but those were already in the works, right? And so now we're able to pivot, and you know, we were originally going to just have mobile ordering in 8 locations, and now we're going to expand that to pretty much all locations. And so, you know, there's that part of it. We're starting to take a look at new technology as well. So like Google Solly, for example, human interface, the ability to use a kiosk or a point of sale unit without touching it, right? Just hand gestures, those types of
Really?
things. And so we're starting to explore all of that, and it'll take some time, but some of these things are already in the venue, and they'll be present when we do reopen, whenever that is. And some of the other things are forward looking. But, we looked at everything and we realized that, we obviously need to respond to COVID-19. But then on the flip side, we have to be looking 2 to 3 years down the road, because, you're going to have a lot of protocols. You're going to have a whole process in place around how to handle operations post-pandemic. But then that will change at some point. But then I think a lot of the human behavior around it won't change. And so we want to make sure that we're addressing all of our customers and, the concerns that they have coming into the building, right? Because we want to make sure that they're comfortable, and, we do everything that we possibly can to eliminate the possibility of them getting sick.
So let's shift over to the actual pitch day. So basically, for everyone out there in the audience to know, we have 12 partners in the program, and the LAFC and the Islanders are 2 of the 12. Yesterday, we had 25, yesterday being Thursday, we had 25 pitches. Pretty long day. I mean, 4 hours back to back. Christian, I know obviously it started early for you and you weren't able to make the beginning, and you had a bunch of internet issues. Was copper being looted in LA, or what was going on there?
Dude, we're all fiber here. I don't know what was going on, but half of Los Angeles was.
That's what you're showing me. So you're sending me like screenshots of your speed. It's like you wouldn't be able to talk at all. So Jaimie, I know you were on it. But Christian, you definitely got to catch up. You got to see something today. So what do you think, Jaimie? What was you think of the process, and what were some of your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, incredibly impressed with the professionalism and the organization of Hype and the overall accelerator. It's an incredible program. It's not easy to get that level of applications in your system. How many 20, 25 teams together, coordinate all the pieces and have it come together so nicely. So really only the most amazing things to say about the overall coming together of the program. In terms of the pitches, it's amazing to see what's out there and to hear from all these startups about these concepts that you're kind of like, oh, we think someone's doing that, but we don't know who. To see, wow, this exists today. There's someone doing it, and it's real, it's touchable, and it's tangible. So it's been a great learning experience for us, or at least for myself, to see what's out there, more than what I think is out there, and
Fantastic.
kind of put it together.
Christian, on your side, just one quick sentence of what you thought from the overall process, then we'll dive into the actual startups.
Yeah, I think for me, it's interesting because, you and I had a conversation not long ago about starting this accelerator. And to have you,
to be exact, or 84 days ago.
Yeah, and to have you stand it up, and we're going through the process now, and it's been exceptional. I think, the Hype team's great. I think you've done a phenomenal job, dude. Like, this is amazing, and I think you and I need to collaborate a lot more on things in the future. But I think all in, excellent curation. I think the companies that came to the table all had tremendous value. I think the finalists have really tangible products that folks in the sports and live entertainment industry can absolutely use.
Now, quick question, if you don't mind me interrupting for 1 second here. So for you guys, when it comes to being on the team side and being put in front of startups like this, I mean, how often do you have these kinds of experiences being involved in an accelerator of any kind?
Well, for me, this was my first accelerator. So That was amazing. Getting in front of startup companies is something that I do several times a week, just not in this context. So it's actually really interesting to be involved in it.
Okay.
Hey, I just want to I know we got off to a late start. Do you have a hard stop, Christian? If you do, I want to start with you, or do you, Jaimie?
I have a call at 2.
Yeah. Jaimie, yourself, can you go past?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good to go back.
So Christian, let's start with you for the next 4 minutes. What were some of the startups that kind of jumped out? I mean, before you were saying some. So any sort of thoughts, early process? This is not that you're selecting them, just that you're kind of, they made your short list, so to say?
Yeah, there's three. The first one really is, COVID Sportbot. We had taken a look at them a while ago. We've started to look at that platform internally, specific to our first team operations. We've actually connected the dots with some other organizations within in MLS to take a look at it as well, because it seems very interesting and very relevant. So we're excited about that. And then the other two that I'm really interested in, CrowdView Live, I think is pretty legit. I've got to think through that a little bit, and B-Box. And I won't get into like too much detail on any of the three, but I think they have promising solutions that we can actually utilize, right, for specific things that we're trying to solve for.
Got it. And I think, in the past, I think you did some work with Pronto. You're really happy about those guys. It's just not a fit at the current time, but
Pronto's phenomenal. Great organization. We had a wonderful experience with those guys, but we made a switch in our ticketing partner to launch, safe ticks for Ticketmaster, and so it just kind of changed the dynamics.
Got it. Jaimie, from your side, and then we'll come back to you, Christian, before you have to drop off. Just, Jaimie, a quick overview of some of the ones that were intriguing, then we'll dive into someone after Christian has to drop.
Yeah, I am captivated by some of the solutions that B-Box had as well. When it relates to, I guess, engaging fans without sports. So how can we leverage digital assets to bring people in? They seem to have something there. Mm-hmm. Pronto was interesting from a loyalty perspective for our use case. I guess starting from scratch, they had a intriguing loyalty scheme with a cool demo on making it easy for the customer to enroll. I also can appreciate I think it was FanFest. There's FanFest and FanWide. I actually like them both. I also appreciated the taking Zoom to the next level for virtual events.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you doing that already, Christian? Have you done anything with like special Zoom calls, Christian?
Sorry, that broke up. What's that?
Yeah, I think Jaimie, have you done any like private viewing, or have you talked about any kind of like viewing sessions for like having a corporate suite at your home or a fan club, where the stuff that Simon was talking about, Adam was talking about? I think there was actually 3 or 4 of them had some sort of solution similar to that. Is that something that you're considering, Christian, something you're already doing?
So we're doing that now, and I can't get into the details, but we're doing a lot of activations with partners, with prospective partners. Everything's done over WebEx. Yep. That's our standard today. But yeah, no, there's definitely practical application there. Now and post-COVID as well, because you think about some of the activation, when we're not playing, which we're not now, right now we're definitely not playing, but, when the team's on the road, there's things that we would like to accomplish. It makes perfect sense.
Christian, I don't know if you were on for Handy. Were you on for that? The hand sanitizing solution for the stadium that's branded LAFC?
Yeah, I had just logged on. I think I got the last minute of it. That makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a really cool idea. For us, we're already working with a partner on hand sanitization and really BPE, branded personal protection type things. So it was cool. I just don't know that it's something that we'll be able to utilize just under the guise of what we're actually doing.
Got it. Christian, I know you got to go, so we don't want you to be late for your next meeting.
No, I'm good right now. My next meeting is at 2.
Oh, okay, great.
I have half an hour.
Oh, perfect. All right, Jaimie, want to dive into talk about any of the ones I know you mentioned some. Any questions about any of them, or what do you think of the hand sanitizing for the stadium, the branded one?
I love the concept, particularly with where we are today. I'm curious to see how that works after how that works when hockey comes back, right? but we're not coming back till January. So there's this big lag between the program and when we can actually roll out some of this tech. So in terms of short term, super focused right now on content and keeping people engaged while they're not allowed in the arena. But once we are back in the arena, a solution like Handy is extremely valuable, and it'll roll up through the arena operations side.
Yeah, and I don't see, just because let's say a vaccine comes out for Corona, I think it's going to be in our DNA now to be always sanitizing our hands, regardless, because the next bat virus is going to come out of wherever it came from, and it's going to be there next. So that's just my gut feel. And by all means, if it's something that you have to wait till January, it's still okay for us. I mean, so, and the fact that it gets branded, you can put it on, put your sponsors on there. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know if you heard, but they were talking that Liverpool wants to sell this retail to their fans. So they're actually selling this to people who want to buy this at their home, almost like you buy a Deer Park water cooler. It's cheaper to buy the big giant gallon jug. And instead of buying the little, buy 25 for the little plastic bottles, there's a sustainability angle to it as well. So people walk in your house, here's my sanitizer, and it's branded New York Islanders. I mean, I'm sure you have a bunch of crazy fans that would love that in New York.
I completely agree, and I see a huge advantage. We get to build from scratch. We don't have any existing Purell systems or hand sanitization. It's in our budget, and I guess what it's going to come down to in the end is, when can we roll it out? When can we try it? But it's highly interesting. Love the branding side of it too.
Here's another thing too with something like that. If you've got a tower that is branded with the team and it's got hand sanitizer, that's an easy thing for tailgates. I mean, the number of times where I go to tailgates and I'm sitting in a parking lot somewhere, and it just gets nasty out there. You're in a parking lot for hours at a time. You're throwing a football around that's rolling around in the dirt and whatnot. And so to have for people that, because for Philly, it's a really extreme thing. People have like old school buses that they paint Eagles green and have players painted on it and everything. It's really all out. And there's a lot of sites like that. So for them to have, all right, here's our Eagles branded hand sanitizing station, I absolutely see that working too, from that angle.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about a few more. Did you guys understand what you're on for sports meet? And did you get that one?
I don't recall that one.
Okay. So it takes basically, imagine TikTok.
Okay.
And take Around the Horn. Jaimie, I don't know are you familiar with ESPN's Around the Horn? Christian, I'm pretty sure you probably would be, but it's Around the Horn. You're familiar with Stephen Smith on ESPN, I'm sure, Jaimie. But basically, today it's all about arguments. Everything's a topic. Was it a foul? Was it not a foul? Was it this? So ESPN's Around the Horn, I think it's Tony Reali hosts it, and there's different sports writers, and they throw a topic out there, and everyone makes their argument, and the winner gets more points. What this does, it democratizes that. So you can take a New York Islanders one, you send it out to your fans, and was that a penalty? Was it a foul? And one fan might record something on his phone. He records his video, and then someone else records, and that combines three of them together, and it pushes it out there, and your fans start voting. And it's basically recording video like a TikTok, and it's basically making your own statement on a sports argument, so to say. The main thing, it's really a B2C play. It's more broader, but they are trying to get specific where it's a, inside for the New York Islanders fan base or for the LAFC fan base. And they want you to be promoting out to your fans and get those discussions going before and after the game.
Interesting. Very cool.
Yeah, and it's a big players now. I think I was telling you, Christian, I was messaging Jason Robbins from DraftKings is one of their advisors. They just hired somebody from NBC Universal, so pretty powerful team.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I did take a look at this after the fact. Definitely.
Got it.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I got to figure out how things fit. We're working really hard on, our fan engagement outside the venue. Mm-hmm. Initiatives around the home, right? So out of venue, in home, delivery, things like that. So we're boiling the ocean on that. There's a lot of stuff. I just don't want to overwhelm the fan either, right? Because I don't want to overdo it. But engagement's really key for us. I think we've done a great job with it as we've not been playing in this whole, post or during the pandemic. And then hopefully the lessons learned, we'll be able to transition to the post-pandemic era as well.
Well, out of curiosity, what is some of the stuff you've been doing fan engagement wise, in these past couple of months?
Trivia has been a big deal for us.
Okay.
In-app, which has been fantastic. We are focused heavily on content. And so we have the Full 90, which is a series where, we'll interview, not unlike this, but we'll interview people within the LAFC ecosystem, not necessarily players, but an ultra, like a super fan, folks that were involved in the process of building LAFC as a club, those types of things. So that's been well received. We've got, podcasts out there like Shooting the Shot, which has been really well received. And those are, folks that are not necessarily in the LAFC universe, but adjacent to people in sports, those types of things. And so it's been a really interesting experience. Our fans are definitely engaged. And then when you think through things that sit outside of the digital realm, food drives, blood drives that we do in LA as part of our which is part of our brand ethos, is for Los Angeles and giving back to the city and working with the community. And so that's something that we take very seriously. And so when you think about those types of initiatives that help the city, that's been really received well, right? And so that's done really well. And then, of course, things like esports with Twitch and FIFA 20, we've done a ton of that, and very well received, huge number of folks watching. In fact, we've had several events where the audience is the same size, if not larger than what would be in the stadium on a match day, which
wow.
has been,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then I guess, Jaimie, for you guys, same thing. Like, what have you been doing over the past couple of months?
Here, I thought we were being so creative, Christian. We've done a lot of similar but very different programs. We do what we call the Isles Daily Challenge, and that encourages our fans to deliver user-generated content over social media. So we did a t-shirt design contest where submit your design, and the winner was going to actually be designed by our creative team and sold in the store. So we're doing a bunch of stuff like that. It's been fun, really, on the creative side. We also forayed into esports for the first time. We partnered with the Edmonton Oilers, and we launched a simulation of the 1980s. It's got our legends and their legends. So Bossy and Trottier and all of those guys played in the 84 Cup game. It didn't turn out so well for us the first time, but we did win the simulation. So I don't know.
That's all that matters. You just got to win at
right?
all costs. Yeah.
Yeah. We're also, like Christian, we're doing a lot of trivia. We have a very focused app. It's almost like a gaming app. Obviously, in season we can do prop betting, but for the break we've been doing HQ style trivia, and that's been pretty exciting for our fans. And then the last piece on the fan related side is our STMX program for our season ticket members. They have a special portal. They can go in there and they have access to all kinds of exclusive content that only season ticket members get. Some special subscriptions, special experiences, all kinds of amazing benefits, because we're a family. We want to make sure our season ticket members see value, especially at a time like this. So we've been very focused on that. And then, like Christian, again, giving back. We've been doing supply drops for the first responders in the area. We donated masks to Northwell Health and a bunch of other community initiatives. It's the most important thing for us is how we fit in our community. They're what prop us up, and we're there to support them as well every day.
Jaimie, you just mentioned prop betting. Is that something you're already doing, or is that something you might look at Flash Plays for that has that kind of prop betting offer?
So we are already doing like a free to bet prop play system. Okay. It's amazing. Our developer is incredible. Him and his team have delivered an amazing product. I think the next step for us actually is looking at all the other add-ons to such app that we can integrate into a more than a prop betting platform? So how do we scale this game into something more?
So you both said you're interested in B-Box. Just what was intriguing for you, and what did you kind of like about the B-Box product?
Go for it, Jaimie.
Ladies first. I really like the content side to it. On the first end, they were showing the ability for fans to use their phone to capture themselves playing soccer or engaging with some digital athletes. I think people are all about that right now. You look at the Cowboys AR activation, and everyone wants to leverage technology to be with the players, to have that relationship, that connection. It's very powerful. So that was intriguing. The other thing that was of interest to me with B-Box was their portal. We've seen it with the NBA, but for us, having a new arena, the ability to integrate into a mobile platform, you can pop up your phone and have a sneak peek into the arena before it's built. Well, that's exciting to our fans, and that adds value. So I see cool, call it content engagement opportunities from the technology and the services of B-Box.
So a stride through Central Park, and next thing you know, you walk into the Belmont Center.
We got doors everywhere.
So tell you guys a little bit about B-Box that they didn't come across because they didn't have time. And with 6 minutes, it's difficult to get it all through. So they actually started off, and they still do this. And Benfica is a massive case study for this one. It's actually it can be monthly or quarterly subscription box. And it's like a surprise box that you get. So the idea behind this is how do you get rid of old merchandise that's on shelves or other things? And you put stuff in a box and it's a surprise. Every month it's something different. But inside it, so it might be an old t-shirt, a scarf, it might be something new. And the value that they pay, it's like 10 times the value in the box because you give them some money can't buy experiences. So maybe now you can come on the field, you can come on the ice at halftime. And then here's some augmented reality as well. Here's a new thing we rolled out. And it comes inside this box. So it's both physical and digital stuff. The box is packaged super nicely. Christian, I know you do a lot of stuff with retail and drops. So they kind of handle this. They work with all your suppliers, all your stuff, and it's just, you throw something in there. And there's different, and those subscription boxes in the US, it's a big market. There's a lot of people subscribe for those kind of things.
So
and,
yeah,
the kids.
So the reason why I had Jaimie go first on B-Box is I'm trying to formulate an answer for you that doesn't reveal much, because I think, so B-Box as a platform, it solves a couple of things that we're trying to do, and I won't name partners, but basically, you're right. We like to do merch drops. We like to do custom merch. We don't really have any merchandise that sits on the shelf that we're trying to get rid of. That's not really a thing. I mean, our stuff's black and gold, and it's in LA, so it's a great looking, great looking apparel, those types of things. And then when you think about black and gold, it's fashion forward, blah blah blah. But I'm thinking through how we could integrate B-Box, not only with season ticket members, but just fans in general, in a way that is tied to loyalty, right? And not necessarily LAFC's loyalty program, but a partner's loyalty program.
Got it.
So there's definitely a huge opportunity. And connecting the dots will take some time, but this could be like something that nobody's done yet, right? Which is what we like to do.
Interesting.
So just to make sure I get this right, so it's basically like, okay, there's the services where they'll send meals to your door, and they'll just be like, here's all the ingredients for this, and you just put these in a thing, and you bake it, and there's your meal. So it's going to be that with sports gear, and it's just going to be like different kinds of shirts and whatnot in the box. Is that?
It's a surprise box every month. And
Yeah.
they work with the clubs, and they can create stuff. They have these little bobbleheads that the bobbleheads turn to AR. So they can create a bobblehead of a player, and you hold your phone up to the bobblehead, and it shows all the stats of the player the night before. It kind of comes out of the bobblehead.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
As Dole's called it. And then they'll put other experiences in the box. So inside the box, it might say, hey, you've been selected. We know you're a season ticket holder. At the next game, you're going to come into the locker room or come into the press or meet the players after the game, whatever it is. You give those money can't buy experiences So people buy the box. They know they've only paid $50 for each box, but the value that comes out of it is insane. And it's a surprise every month they get something different. And for little kids, it's fantastic.
And I guess that's pretty cool too, because if it's different like that, you get that whole idea. Because I know a lot of people, there's a whole subgenre like on YouTube of people unboxing things, and so I can't imagine the number of people that are just gonna be like, "Here's me opening my box this week," and like just going through all the different stuff. So that's awesome.
Exactly. Christian, you said a couple others, not the COVID sports bot, but there's another COVID one or something. Maybe it was crowd compliant. I forget which one you said. I wrote down. Yeah,
that broke up a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I was saying, Christian, when I wrote down for you, I wrote down the B-Box, the COVID sports spot, but then you said another one about the COVID, or maybe it was the crowd one. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Oh, yeah, sorry. The CrowdView Live. Yeah. So I think, it's
Crowd comply, that one?
Yeah, CrowdView Live. We're looking in this space now. It's interesting because, audience augmentation is something that we're looking at in a big way. I think I told you that before. Mm-hmm. We're looking for ways for the fan to interact with the team or the environment in a live match if they're not in the venue. Mm-hmm. And my struggle, so there's a lot of great technology out there, and I think CrowdView Live, it kind of falls into that realm, right? Because, their thing is about ghost games. And so I think it's intriguing, but then what we need to figure out is if we bring a partner like that on, how do we adapt that to the future, right? Because we're not going to be empty forever. Yeah. And so we need to figure out how they stay relevant. And so that's been my struggle ongoing, right? That makes sense?
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Curious what you guys thought about Hear Me Cheer and the app that allows the fans to cheer at home and they can hear everyone else cheer. So I told Vince, we actually had Elias on the show. So if I'm sitting at home, just to understand that, I turn on the app, I put my phone down.
Yep.
I watch the game, the Islanders score a goal, I yell, but I hear everyone else yelling as well. So I don't just hear my own team yelling. If I'm at the Eagles game, after that happens, we all sing the fight song, Fly Eagles Fly, but you hear it and you're singing with everyone else. So you feel like you're actually in the crowd doing it. They can also take that noise and pump it into the stadium and they can put it on the broadcast as well. So they're having a lot of discussions with a bunch of NBA teams, a bunch of broadcasters. Just curious what you think about this one. Obviously, to your point, Christian, when the fans come back, but reality is their fans might not come back right away. And even when they do come back, there's still a role for it for the fans at home.
Yeah. So we were looking at a prospective partner here in Los Angeles. They have another app. I think you talked to them, Fan Lives, really similar concept.
Yeah.
Definitely a practical application, and I think it can be adapted for other uses. Part of what we're working on right now is, LAFC and how we fit in the broad scheme of virtual worlds, right? So we're looking at a company called Green Park Sports. Chad Hurley is the co-founder. He co-founder of YouTube, and then, one of our owners. And so we're looking at those virtual worlds and how we bridge professional sports, esports, and basically all of the above, right? And so I think there's an opportunity for these types of apps to focus heavily on the current situation, but then adapt them for use in the virtual world where you would have the ability to pit like fans of, the Islanders and the Oilers against each other. You can gamify that. And so we're trying to think through what that looks like, but there's definitely going to be an opportunity for those types of platforms in the future.
Okay. Vince, you have a question at all, or want me to keep going?
No, I guess because for me, I've seen some of these programs, but I haven't seen all of them. I guess because now the whole focus is primarily getting things for dealing with COVID, right? Like that's the whole focus for this accelerator. So
yeah, yes and no. I mean, it's just the future. I mean, post-pandemic sports world. So it's definitely COVID, but we're all, like I said, some solutions are dealing with no fans in the stands. Some solutions deal with fans in the stands. Some solutions deal with, when it's business as usual. The key burning platform behind all this was COVID. And the reason why this is so unique, most accelerators have partners, but they all work together. They all collectively decide who's going to enter, meaning it's more of a democracy, so to say, where these clubs, other than you two, Christian and actually the Warriors as well, you're not related in any way, and you do stuff, you make decisions independently. So we're letting you all choose independently, but you're all kind of connected together by one thing, which is Corona. You all face the exact same challenge, you know, the whole world, whether it's, you know, River Plate in Argentina or tennis in Australia, you guys, the whole world is the exact same issues are in front of us. And you're all
exactly right. Exactly right.
Well, let me ask you guys about this then, because one of the things that I figure is going on, and I've read about to some degree, is that the different teams, different leagues are talking to each other, I know, with getting ways back on the field. So when it comes to your end of the operation and getting people into the stadiums and organizing that, is there any sort of conversations you guys have with other teams in the league or other leagues in general? Like, how does that work for both of you? And I guess we'll start with Jaimie.
Other teams and leagues. Go ahead, Jaimie or Christian.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jaimie.
We're starting with me. Oh,
Yeah,
so
call. There we go.
that's okay. As it relates to coming back, we're really gonna follow the guidance of the NHL. They're taking charge on the overall protocol. I think most leagues will be in that. We're happy to figure out as we go, I guess. As it relates to what we can do internally, one of our partners, OP Group, operates about 100 arenas around the world, a lot of them in the US. They've launched a task force and are committed to understanding what operating an arena post-COVID looks like. And so we're supporting them in that effort. And it's an amazing effort by them. They're going to come out with a program that I think will be very well taken.
Yeah.
It'll be sophisticated. It'll be incredible. We're lucky to have them as a partner leading the charge on our behalf here. And I think with that, Christian, it's your turn.
Great. So, yeah, Vince, you know, we speak to a ton of teams. You know, we're working with officials in various leagues, including Major League Soccer. You know, we're working with our partners in the Sport Innovation Alliance, you know, the 18 football clubs around the world in 18 leagues. And then LAFC sits on various task force here in Los Angeles, as well as, you know, in the state and county level. And then, you know, consortiums and things. And so we're doing a lot of collaboration with other teams specific to COVID-19, but we also do quite a bit of consulting on the technology side as well. And, you know, trying to help steer our friends in a specific direction, depending on what they're trying to accomplish. So we're very collaborative in that way.
Okay.
So Vince, let me jump in here. I want Christian to talk about something that we had a call the other day on with some friends of mine in Europe. They're actually going to be potentially, I don't know if you've committed to this yet, Christian, but shipping, so the fans are going to be at home and they're going to be watching the game at home as they can't be in the stadium. Yep. They're actually going to ship food from not the stadium, but the same food you would get in the stadium back to the house so that you can be eating the same food at your house that you would have been eating at the stadium.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
the Beats by Dre headphones. Show us, do you have the Beats by Dre things right there, Christian?
I do, man. Yeah, so I always have these. I wear them all the time.
It's hard to see with your virtual background.
Yeah, the background. There we go. Okay.
See them, kinda?
Kinda, sorta. It looks better in front of your chest, but we got a glimpse of it.
Right on. But yeah, so we're working out our whole in-home strategy. And the idea is, you know, if you haven't been to our stadium before, most of our food programming is Los Angeles-based restaurants that are popular in their own right. And then we have some stadium fare as well, but we really wanted to bring in really cool restaurant concepts that people like in the real world and bring it into the stadium. Because, you know, stadium and arena food, a lot of the time is pretty uninspired, if we're being honest today. And so we do want people to have the ability, if they're not in the stadium, whether we're at home or on the road, to have that delivered to their house. And so we're working through that now. We have a really cool prospective partner that everybody's heard of that we're trying to get over the transom on. And then that also applies to merchandise as well. Like those Beats headphones that you may or may not have just seen.
Yeah, no, we did. We saw them. All right, well, I think we're just about out of time, Vince, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, we're basically up against it here.
one parting thought from each of you. Maybe Christian, you can go first, and we'll let Jaimie go last. One last thing you just want to say, Christian, to the startups, to the panelists, that this is going to be released.
I would just say congratulations. I think everybody's done a phenomenal job. I think every solution that we've seen is absolutely viable, and I think will definitely be a success to some level. But I think there's practical applications throughout, you know, and I think that you're going to have teams globally that will have an interest in them. So don't give up. Don't be discouraged. You know, at the outcome, because at the end of the day, I think you have solutions that we need.
Good message. Jaimie, for you?
On the same note as Christian, it's been amazing to see some great innovation, some amazing products. Love to talk to them all, but ultimately I see a great future for all of them, and keep your head up regardless of how this turns out, but thoroughly impressed of every solution that we've seen. And I have the greatest respect for all the innovators who've been participating in this program. It's a lot of work and a lot of guts to come up in front of 30 teams in a couple of days. So I respect that tremendously.
And to do it virtually from your home country. Some of the feedback we got from these startups were like, you know, I thought I was in 12 countries in 3 days. You know, I got to these guys, some of these are in Portugal, some are in Singapore, some are in Australia, and they got to get in front of you guys. And that's just those 1 hour sessions were fantastic, where you got to spend time and really understand kind of what's going on, the inner working, so to say, of your club and how that machine is working to get everything back. Actually, Christian, you made a comment to me on the phone last night of, I wouldn't understand, not me, but you said, you know, people just don't understand what the Herculean effort is to bring up these sports back. You know, the effort that's going into it, that you're going through all the time. So, I know you guys are both pretty busy bringing your respective sports back. Good luck to both of you when you do come back. I think you're both kind of in a good place, and good luck. I mean, obviously, Vince and I have a bias towards the Philadelphia Union or the Philadelphia Flyers, but that's for another topic. So on that note, for the audience out there, Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Actually, I think it's 10:30 to 2:30, if I'm not mistaken. It's 3:30 to 5:30 in London. The show is going to be live. It's going to be high drama, low touch, high drama, and we'll see who survives. We'll see what startups make it and which startups are thrown off the island. And so on that night, we'll go from there. Christian, enjoy the rest of your day. Jaimie, thank you very much in Florida. Vince, I'll talk to you in a second. And it's now dark, 10 o'clock at night in Portugal.
Finally, it's finally set in Portugal. The sun, it never seems to set there. So what a fitting end for this fine program, right, guys? Thanks so much for coming on. It was great talking with you, really. All right, Ryan. Well, that was fun. I learned a lot from this. I mean, you're in the middle of this, so this is all like not as surprising. You got like the little pickings of who's going to get chosen, and to pull that little intrigue is always fun because there's the reality element. Yeah, so that's pretty great. But for me, I just learned a lot from this, and it's so cool to finally, you know, I mean, finally, as if we've been doing this for 10 years now. But it was cool to get a couple of people that are with the team side and have them break down everything. And so for Jaimie and Christian, again, thanks to them for coming on. And I hope people enjoyed the interview. Now, obviously, as you talked about a little bit, Monday is the big day. So they're going to be, and I think as Jaimie joked about this, I can't remember if it was during the interview or not. She mentioned that it's like a rose ceremony on The Bachelor. So like, when is this rose ceremony taking place?
Yes.
How can people watch it?
So the reality show is on Monday from 10:30 to 2:30 Eastern time. It will be live. We're going to have all 25 startups there with their kind of off the screen, but we're going to bring on each partner. So Jaimie's going to come on Jaimie's going to talk about the somewhere between 3 and 7 startups that she selected, and those startups move forward. And we're going to go partner to partner. So Jaimie, Christian, if you get selected, you make the program, you move forward the next week. If you're not selected, tough luck. You're out off the island. Goodbye. So Monday is the day, selection show. Tune in to LinkedIn Live. It'll be on YouTube, Facebook. We'll be pushing a bunch of stuff out on social media. But yeah, Monday, 10:30 a.m. It's going to be high drama. Must see TV.
Yeah, so make sure, and by the way, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the show, whether it's on the podcast form or the YouTube form, because we'll be keeping up with the whole program as it's going. And we're going to keep rolling after the accelerator is over, by the way. So this is not just a one-off covering the accelerator. We're a full-time, year-round operation, baby. We're chugging at full steam. So make sure, again, you subscribe to the show. We are New Arenas. We are powered by Fist, and we'll talk to you next time.